You didn't find this video by accident. You weren't supposed to hear this yesterday. You weren't ready last week. But today, you are. There are moments when God doesn't interrupt your life loudly. He waits until you are quiet enough inside to notice. This could have played for anyone, but it didn't. It reached you. Because somewhere between your exhaustion and your questions, you asked God for something real. You may smile around people, but alone. Your mind doesn't rest. You replay conversations. You carry weight you never talk about. And some nights, you wonder if God even sees how hard you're trying. Here's the truth no one tells you. God doesn't send answers randomly. He sends them precisely. When your strength is low, when your heart is open, when your soul is listening. And if this message feels uncomfortably close, that's not coincidence. That's timing. Because this message was never meant for everyone. It was meant for the one who almost gave up, but didn't. There comes a point in life when you realize the noise around you is louder than the answers inside you. You're still moving, still showing up, still doing what's expected. But deep down, you feel disconnected from the version of yourself you used to be. This is the season where faith doesn't feel powerful. It feels quiet. And that silence can be unsettling. You start asking questions you never planned to ask. Not out loud, but in the quiet moments. When you're driving alone. When the house finally goes still. When you stare at the ceiling and wonder why praying feels harder than it used to. This doesn't mean your faith is weak. It means your faith is being tested in a deeper place. Many people think God only speaks when life is loud and dramatic. But more often, He speaks in the in-between moments. The ones that don't look spiritual. The ordinary days. The unanswered texts. The plans that didn't work out. These moments feel empty. But they are not meaningless. They are shaping something inside you that comfort never could. You may feel like you're waiting, but heaven is not delayed. What feels like stillness to you is alignment. God is not ignoring you. He's positioning you. He's removing distractions you once depended on, so you can recognize His voice without confusion. If your heart feels stretched right now, that's not a sign to quit. It's a sign you're growing into something stronger than before. This season isn't here to break you. It's here to prepare you for what you've been praying for, even when you didn't know how to put it into words. There are seasons when life doesn't fall apart all at once. It slowly unravels. You don't wake up in crisis. You wake up tired. Tired of being strong. Tired of explaining yourself. Tired of carrying faith quietly while the world keeps demanding results. This kind of exhaustion doesn't come from doing too little. It comes from caring deeply for too long. You may have noticed that the people who once understood you don't seem as close anymore. Conversations feel shallow. Laughter feels shorter. It's not that you've become distant. It's that you've grown into a place where small talk can't hold what you're carrying inside. God often allows this shift, not to isolate you, but to refine who you lean on. This is where many people misunderstand God's silence. They assume distance means absence. But silence is often where trust is built. When you don't feel Him, but you still choose Him. When prayers aren't answered quickly, but your heart keeps turning toward hope anyway. This is mature faith, even if it feels uncomfortable. God is not testing your patience to punish you. He's strengthening your foundation. Because what's coming next in your life requires a steadiness you couldn't learn in easier seasons. The weight you're feeling now is preparing you to carry future blessings without losing yourself. If you've been feeling misunderstood, unseen, or emotionally tired, this is not the end of your strength. It's the place where God is quietly rebuilding it from the inside out. There is a kind of waiting that doesn't look holy. It doesn't feel peaceful. It feels confusing. You're doing the right things, making careful choices, staying faithful in ways no one applauds. Yet nothing seems to move. This is often the moment people give up. Not because they stopped believing in God, but because they stopped believing God was still involved. Waiting exposes what success never can. It reveals where your hope actually rests. When answers don't come quickly, your heart begins to ask honest questions. Am I trusting God for who He is, or only for what I want Him to fix? This tension is uncomfortable, but it is sacred, because faith that survives waiting is faith that cannot be shaken easily. God does some of His deepest work when nothing seems to be happening. He reshapes motives. He softens pride. He strengthens character. These changes don't come with announcements. They happen quietly, over time, while you keep showing up on days that feel ordinary and heavy. You may think you are standing still, but you're not stagnant. Roots grow in hidden places. Strength forms under pressure. God is building something beneath the surface that you will only understand later, when the season finally changes. If this waiting feels heavier than expected, it's because it matters more than you realize. You are not being delayed. You are being prepared. There are moments when God begins to remove things you once prayed to keep. People drift. Opportunities close. Plans fall apart without explanation. And at first, it feels like loss. It feels personal. You replay memories and wonder what you did wrong. But not every ending is a punishment. Some endings are protection. God sees what you cannot see. He knows which doors would have drained you, which relationships would have slowly pulled you away from who you're becoming. When He removes something, He's not taking joy from your life. He's making room for peace. Even when it hurts, His intention is still good. This is why obedience sometimes feels lonely. Choosing faith over familiarity costs something, but what it costs you now saves you later. God is teaching you how to let go without becoming bitter, how to trust without seeing the full picture. When God starts clearing space in your life, it's because what's coming requires room to grow. You cannot carry new purpose while clinging to old weight. Release is not weakness. It's alignment. If you've been grieving what left, don't rush the healing. God is close in this part of the story. He is guiding you forward. Even when it feels like you're walking alone, there comes a moment when you realize God hasn't been distant at all. He's been walking with you through every quiet step, through the nights you questioned yourself, through the mornings you got up anyway, through the tears you never explained to anyone. His presence was never loud, but it was constant. What you've been living through was not delay. It was direction. God was slowing you down, so your heart could catch up with where He's leading you. Some lessons can only be learned in stillness. Some strength is only built when no one is watching. You may not see the full picture yet, and that's okay. Faith has never required full clarity. It only asks for trust in the next step. God does not rush the process, because He cares more about who you are becoming than how fast you arrive. If this message reached you today, let it be a reminder. You are seen. You are guided. You are not late. God's timing is not against you. It is working for you, even now. So take a breath. Release the pressure to have everything figured out. Let God meet you right where you are. And if your heart needed this today, stay with this journey. Let it remind you to trust again, to hope again, and to keep walking forward, one quiet step at a time.